PEI. So Innovation PI is a crown corporation under the Ministry of Economic Innovation, Development and Trade. We're the lead economic development agency for Prince Edward Island. We focus on accelerating economic development in PEI by investing in innovation, infrastructure, and the people of the island. So what we do here at Innovation, our goal is to build a stronger PEI by helping business create sustainable employment opportunities. To reach our objectives, we offer financial supports and services to promote. Small business investment grants is one of those supports. So entrepreneurship, we try to promote entrepreneurship, business development, business improvement and expansion, job creation, research and innovation, trade and export development, business attraction, and investment. So let's move on to what the Small Business Investment Grant is. So the Small Business Investment Grant helps Prince Edward Island small businesses improve efficiency and innovation by way of a non-repayable financial contribution towards the purchase of eligible capital costs. Okay. So just a bit of information about a small business investment grant again. What capital assets are. So capital asset is pretty much any property owned by a business that is expected to create or add value to the business over a period of time. That period of time we usually look at greater than a year. In addition, an asset would be considered anything you normally capitalize on your tax return, other than the list of ineligible items, which we'll speak about later on. Example of that is a half-ton truck or an ATV. So the main eligibility criteria for a grant, there's 3 main eligibility criteria. There are more criteria that we'll look at when we're reviewing your application, but these are the 3 main ones. The first one, you have to be registered to do business on Prince Edward Island as a for-profit entity. Registration could be through the provincial registry or it could be through the federal registry. Actively operating on the island, which means the business is open on the island, providing full-time services. And it has to be your primary source of income, or you have to at least employ 1 person in the business, meeting 560 hours minimum for the year. So who we're not able to support, the first one would be a business that has defaulted on outstanding debts in the Provincial Central Default Registry, not-for-profit organizations or association, fishers, farmers, and realty companies, including commercial, residential landlords and developers, and bank and financial companies, including pawnbrokers, payday loans, checks, cash-in, and white label cash machine. These are just some examples. This list is not exhausted. What activity costs can we support? So for the small business investment grant, because we look at capital asset costs for the business, the 4 main categories that we look at, and as mentioned before, the list is not exhaustive, would be equipments, leasehold improvement, technology upgrades, and energy efficiency upgrades. For equipment, I chose to use a restaurant as an example for you guys. So say some equipments for a restaurant would be a stove, refrigerator, pots, pan, cutleries. If they need to get a new exhaust for the building to operate from the kitchen, we look at stuff like that. In terms of leasehold improvements, renovation to the building to get it operating for, say, a restaurant, we look at flooring, walls, if they need to do electrical upgrades in terms of adding new sockets and various things to their building to get it up to building code so they can operate. Energy efficiency upgrades, we look at solar panels, heat pumps, and then for technology upgrades, those are pretty much straightforward. Some of the examples are laptop, tablets. If you're purchasing a POS system for your business, which is point of sale system, we will look at that as well under that section. And then we move on to some list of costs that are ineligible. As I mentioned before, this list again is not exhaustive, so there might be some other stuff that's not on this list, but these are the main ones. Assets that's not identified on the application and accepted by Innovation PEI. So if you didn't submit that item on your application, and you don't reach out to us before you submit them for your final claim, then we don't necessarily think those are eligible. You'll have to reach out to us and just let us give us an heads up on those so we can approve them in advance. Receipts under $50, and this $50 is before taxes. Allocated cost or value of goodwill. Goodwill is pretty much an intangible assets for this program. As you guys can see below, we do not support intangible assets or development costs for this program. HST or any other federal or provincial tax, which may be eligible to full or partial refund. Speculative land acquisition, will need paperwork for that if you guys are acquiring land for your business for this program. Any portion of cost of an assets that in the opinion of innovation PI exceeds the fair market value of assets. Well, and this is a continuation of that list. General operating costs and supplies. Main thing that we pretty much look at this. Say for instance, you have an office and you're purchasing pens, pencils, and stuff like that for your office. We will not cover those. We don't consider those as capital assets for the business. However, if you're purchasing a desk to use in the office, we can look at that. Cost of goods sold, the main thing under this, we don't cover expenses for this programs, and inventory cost is another one to point out. We do not support covering your inventory for your business. So if you need to get stocks for your business in terms of you own a restaurant and you're buying, say, food such as lettuce, various types of vegetable meat, stuff like that, we do not cover those under the program. Any costs related to personal use, personal and passenger vehicles, excluding specialty vehicles. Specialty vehicle that we could look at is like a dump truck or a boom truck for your business. Shares of a small business, capital assets that were not purchased from a third party, unaffiliated or arms and transaction. That's a big one. So for instance, say you got your husband to do some upgrades for your business, some renovation work for the business. We will not be able to cover the cost of his labor, but for the materials that are purchased to do the renovation work, we could look at those. And as mentioned prior, this is not exhaustive and other items may be deemed ineligible by Innovation PEI. How do I apply? So we're pretty much provide you guys with a QR code right here that you guys can scan to take you to the small business investment grant page. Application period for this program is April 1st of each year to March 31st of the following year. It pretty much runs on the government fiscal period. So for the current fiscal, which will close March 31st, any items you purchase as of April 1st of last year, once it's considered a capital asset for the business, we could look at those for you guys. Application must be submitted in the year in which the eligible capital cost is purchased. Application will include a list of all the capital assets the business has purchased since April 1st and a list of eligible capital assets the business intend to purchase up to March 31st. Application will be reviewed, and if approved, an email notification will be sent to the applicant, including application details and instruction on how to request for payment process. If your application is, however, declined for some reason, we'll also provide you an update on that. You feel free to reach out to us and we can discuss that with you as well. And at this point, I'll go over an application with you guys. I pretty much already started an application. Is everyone seeing this page?
Yep, looks good.
Okay, perfect. So I'll go back to the start. Okay. So first, if you guys want to get to this page, all you guys need to do is pretty much go on our Innovation PI website. And under how we help start up an early stage, you guys would click on that. Scroll down, there will be a list of all the programs we have there. Small Business Investment Grant would be the one you guys click on, and it will take you to this page, which pretty much provides you information on our program. At the bottom of that page, you guys can just hit apply online. And then it will pretty much take you to the application page. For the purpose of today's presentation, we'll be using Bob Burgers. Bob, so pretty much first you'll provide the business name, which I already typed in. Then you'll provide the contact person's information for your business. So if you're saying getting an admin assistance to include information on to do the application for you, and they're going to be the main source of contact, they'll put their information here. We'll also need the contact information for the owner of the business within this application as well. Address for your business, you'll fill that out. Phone number for the business. If you guys have a personal cell or you also have a business phone number, I'd advise that you put both of them right here. So we could, if we're not getting in on one end, we can reach out to you on the other. Email address for your business or the contact person on the application. Then the region the business is located in. So for the purpose of this application, I choose Queens County because we're located in Charlottetown. If you guys are in Kings County or Prince County, feel free to go ahead and put the county that you're in there. If you have a website for your business, would appreciate you guys entering that information here. And then if your civic address is different from your mailing address, you'll need to provide that information on the application as well. For the purpose of this application, I'm just putting no. On the second page of your application, we usually ask for the form of business. So whether it's a sole prop, partnership, incorporated or cooperative, you guys will put that. Then you select the business category you're in. We do have a list right there. If you guys do not fall into any of these lists, you just click others, and then you would specify the industry that you fall in our sector. For the purpose of this application, it would be in the food and beverage industry, so we'll just put that. We'd like you guys to provide a description of your business. Just tell us a bit of idea about the service or product you guys pretty much provide, your location, operating time, stuff like that. And then this is where the ownership, partnership, or shareholder information comes in. So we'll need their first, last name, and the percentage share or ownership of the business. If it's a sole prop, it's usually 100% ownership. Partnership, that's up to the partners, how they split that. Also for an incorporated business. If it's more than one owner in the business, you'll just add a second tab right there and provide their information as well. Is everyone okay so far?
The chat's pretty quiet, but I think
quiet?
we're good to keep on going.
Okay, perfect. So then you guys move down. Is the business presently doing business on PEI? So that's if you guys are open on PEI. You'll put yes. Is the business registered on PEI? You guys will need to be registered for this program. It's one of the eligibility criteria that I stated before for the program. You have to be registered to do business on the island. So you'll need to be registered, and then you put your Revenue Canada business number right there, which is usually a 9-digit number. And then is the business your primary source of income? So that means like you're making more than 50% of your income or earnings from this business. And you'll have to verify that. All right. And then we scroll down. So if it's not your primary source of income, you'll need an employee in your business that meets 560 hours for the year minimum. You'll need to verify that, provide the number of employees within the business, whether they're full-time or part-time. And that's pretty much it for the second page of your application. Then we move on to the final page. If you guys are a new business, you just open and start operating, we'll need to see a business plan for your business, usually, and some financial projections. Reason being, this part of the application is important, where it asks for an idea. Have you been operating in business for more than a year? Previous annual sales, current year annual sales. So to date, since it's just February 13, your revenue for there is probably not high as yet. So if you can put 10,000, 20,000, if that's what you guys made so far between January and February of this year. And then your forecasted sales for the upcoming year. If your business is exporting or not. If it's exporting, you click yes, and then you put the percentage of your business that's exporting. To know, you just hit no and you move on. Project details section. This is pretty much where you're going to provide a list of the items you're purchasing for your business. First up, you'll select the category that is in, whether it's energy efficiency upgrade, leasehold improvement, equipment, technology upgrade. Then you'll provide some information on description of the activities to be undertaken for this project. And then you scroll down, you provide a list. So for this business, since it's a restaurant, I use a stove as an example. You list the stove. This amount should be the amount before taxes, your invoice amount before taxes, or if you guys get a quote, the quoted amount before taxes. Put the item, list the amount for that, you move on. So you need a refrigerator for your business, you put that, you list the amount as well. Say you need a wood exhaust for your business, put that, list the amount. If you need to add additional items, feel free to find the drop down right there that you add. So you can add a bunch of items there. Those. And then you're going to put the total cost of the above listed items. So for this one, that would be 8,800. So that would pretty much be 20,800. So you'll put that there. And then you're going to do 15% of the before taxes costs. And you're going to put that in that section right there. And for the purpose of this application, it would be 3,120. The maximum amount you can get back from this program for a fiscal period is $3,750. And that would pretty much be 15% of 25,000. All right. Then you move down. Has the business been approved for a small business investment grant within the previous 2 years? If so, you put yes. Once you do that, unless you update your banking information, you do not need to attach a void check or new banking information. If not, then you'll need to provide us with copy of a void check. And you pretty much need to choose right there. Then provide the email address of the individual who is receiving the payment notice. It's probably better to always put the owner or the manager's information for that one, not the contact person or an accountant in the business. Will the business receive funding from other government organization? For programs here, we're only pretty much able to do 75% stacking. So if you're receiving support from other sectors such as efficiency PEI and stuff like that, we'll only be able to do a percentage of the cost for your items. All right. And then you pretty much provide the information on who would be the potential funding. So you guys can just say efficiency PEI, and you give an idea, say they will cover, say, $10,000 of the for heat pumps, just so we have an idea. If you guys have additional comments, you can leave them there. And then just at the bottom there, you guys will need to declare that you understand all the information we've provided on the application. You accept the terms and conditions, which are right there. Always read the terms and conditions for each program before you guys apply, so you have an idea of the terms that you're agreeing to. Once you guys are okay with that, you click that you acknowledge those. You're not a robot. that back. I think that should be it, guys. Okay, and then it's going to take you to a preview page. Make sure all the information you guys entered for your application is good. Once it's good, you guys can print that if you want, just to keep a copy of it. If not, you just hit submit. And once you guys hit submit, it should provide you with a service ID. Always keep a copy of this service ID. When you guys call or send an email, you guys can just attach this information and we should be able to pull up your application right away. Okay, so that's pretty much the application. So I'm going to move back to our presentation. Okay. So now for the small business investment grant, there's two parts to the process. So there's an application. Once that's approved, then you guys will need to submit a claim in order to get the money. For your claim submission, you'll need to provide invoices, proof of payments for those invoices. In terms of proof of payment, it could be a copy of the receipt, copy of a paid invoice, copy of a canceled check, bank statements, stuff along that line. So if your application is approved and after all the assets are purchased and paid for, the applicant will submit a request for payment based on actual invoices and proof of payment. Once processed, the applicant will receive an email notification on the direct deposit payment. One request for payment can be made per application over a 12-month period. The deadline for submitting a request for payment is May 31st of each year. So for this year, it's going to be May 31st, 2024. And then that's pretty much our presentation. Do you guys have any questions?
Awesome. Thanks so much, Davian. There has been nothing in the chat so far, but we do have a couple of like frequently asked questions that we can bring up. One that would often come up is about if someone was purchasing a truck that I would only use for the business, is that an eligible capital item?
So unfortunately for this program, no, we do not consider a truck eligible under the program for a business. It has to be a specialty vehicle and exclusively used for business activities. As I mentioned before, some examples of a specialty vehicle could be a dump truck or a boom truck. Others that I've seen come in is backhoe for, say, a different company. Companies that does like those types of activities, we will look at like specialty vehicles for those.
Another question that would be one that we often get is, what do you consider actively operating?
I think I mentioned this during the presentation. So pretty much actively operating on PI simply means the business is open in a full-time capacity on the island and is able to serve customers or clients on an ongoing basis in terms of a permanent nature.
And does anyone else have any questions to throw in the chat? Kathleen, is there any other questions that you can think of?
Those are the main two that I can think of right now, but I'll definitely hop on and provide any more I think of. Yeah.
Great. In terms of the one question I usually get that I could think of off the top right before the presentation, a lot of applicants usually ask after their application is approved if they're allowed to add items to their application, or they're allowed to like allocate some of the approved costs to other items. So in terms of that, yes, you guys can add additional items to your application once you have not maxed out the program for the year. However, you guys will have to submit those in advance, and you'll have to get your application reapproved before we would be able to issue payment for those. So it's gonna be like a new process again, pretty much.
Okay. Well, if there's no questions in the chat, one that we can put up there is how we can get in touch with you. If you want to put up the contact info.
Yep. Okay. So this is our contact information. This is my teammate, Krista. Kathleen is the team lead as well. Feel free to reach out to any of us for information in terms of the small business programs. If you guys have other questions, there's also other business development officers here as well that might be able to assist you, and you guys can reach out to the front desk as well. Right.
Awesome. And yeah, just a reminder, we are going to share this recording in an email later today, and I'll also share that contact information with all of you that have joined us today. If you're interested in staying up to date on our programs and any news from Innovation PEI, you can sign up for our newsletter here. And yeah, I think if that's everything, I'll leave it to Davian for our final send-off today.
Okay, pretty much just want to say thank you to everyone that participated in the presentation today, just to spend some time to get an overview of the programs that we provide here at Innovation PI in terms of the Small Business Investment Grant. Hope to see you guys in our future webinars that's coming up. There should be one next month as well. So looking forward to that. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.